Hi guys, here we are with another Ask Her On. The first question comes from Jason Sagers.
Hello, Jason. Where's Jason live?
He's from Florida.
Okay.
He says he just watched your lesson 137, LLC versus C Corp. It was very good, by the way. If he makes his flipper a C Corp and pays himself a salary to keep under a tax bracket, will he have to pay taxes on the salary or bonus with his personal taxes?
Afraid so. That's the IRS rules. They want you to pay taxes on income you make in this country, and salary is clear income. Not only will you pay salary, but you're going to pay FICA and FUTA as well, which comes out to about 13–14% of your of the amount you pay yourself. Because you have to match it as an employee or an employee, you have to pay both sides.
All right. Our next question comes
Well,
from...
let me finish that one first.
Sorry.
You don't have to do that in an LLC. If most people make an LLC, their operating entity, but remember, all the income or expenses flow through to you, whether you take the money out of it or not. It is easier to take money out of an LLC, and probably that's the way you should go. I would not form a C corporation unless you understand why you're doing it and understand the ramifications of taking money out of it. The protection to you is about the same for either one of them. Okay?
All right, the next one comes from Phillip Amos from Louisiana.
Philip?
He says, in a lease option deal, you mentioned that a non-refundable option payment becomes the qualifying down payment at the time the tenant converts to a buyer.
Correct.
How does that work? He has his non-refundable option payment. Does this satisfy the bank?
Yeah, he has an option agreement showing that he's put down this non-refundable deposit. That will be part of his application to the bank, and the bank will, of course, want you to prove that you got it. In other words, showing a deposit slip with it on it. Now, there is another way. I mean, if you put a tenant buyer in a house, probably the easiest thing for you to do when they tell you they're going to go for a loan is to write a purchase and sale agreement at that time, showing that you've received the earnest money deposit. It's a lot cleaner than sending them the lease option agreement, but both ways work. You just got more explaining to do with the lease option agreement.
All right. Our next one comes from Fernando Diaz from Connecticut.
Fernando?
It says, I am lease purchasing a standalone single-family home in an active adult community.
Yes.
In the bylaws, the community board has the right to meet the purchase or lease terms. I was wondering what to expect from this meeting. I assume this is done to protect the overall market pricing of the community houses. I believe it is unlikely that the community board will decide to match the lease purchase, but I'm concerned that they might disapprove all other grounds. The AVR is $370K, purchase price is $260K. No work to do, 8-year-old building, lease is $800 a month, where the market value is $1,600 a month.
Well, I don't know what the question is there. It sounds to me like you're worried about what the association can do to your ability to put a tenant buyer in there, if that's what I'm reading. I would not be worried about that because let's say they stopped you from leasing it, they can't stop you from selling it with owner financing. So just think about that as an alternative exit strategy if your meeting does not go well. With that much equity, I'm buying it. I don't care what the association says.
The next one
In
is...
fact, just a minute, in fact, you could put it on the market with a realtor and list it with that kind of spread in it and sell it and still do well. So buy it.
The next one comes from Rod McMasters. I did not find where he was
city.
from. No
So
city.
Rod decided not to tell you where he lives.
No,
Huh?
he
I
did
guess
not.
he's hiding from the law, would be my guess. All right.
It says pretty house business.
Yep.
If it's terms or nothing, shouldn't that be the first question out of my mouth? Nothing else matters on the lead/property information sheet if they don't want terms.
Well, it probably is very close to the first question. In fact, it is the first question out of your mouth because your virtual assistant fills out the property information sheet, not you. And if you take a look at my scripts, other than, hey, and it looks like you said okay that you take your monthly payment and your equity and monthly payments, you skip right down to the bottom, and that is the first question out of your mouth. What's the least you could take? Will you sell with nothing down, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. But this is assuming you already have the facts on the house. You need a little bit about the house, like asking price and loan balance, and what they think it's worth before you start asking them the terms question. All right, go ahead.
Okay, and then the next one is from Tim Johnston. He's also from Florida. It says, hello, Ron. It says Florida Statute 475.43.
That's the one that's dealing with licensing.
was cited at a recent RIA meeting I attended. It states that without taking the title of a property for the Sandridge/Axe, a party advertises the property, it can be considered brokering.
Stop. I know this law probably better than anybody who attended your meeting. This law has been read for years. I have it right down in my filing cabinet. I've run this law by numerous attorneys, and there's just 2 words in this whole law that makes your entire speech from whoever visited your RIA group worthless. All of the stuff that he says that you need a license to do is correct if you're not doing them, if you are doing them for others. Go look up your own statute and go down to the exceptions. The exceptions will say you need a license to do any of that big long list of stuff as long as you're not doing it, if you are doing it, comma, for others. Go look for yourself. It's in there. And honestly, whoever gave you that advice does not understand the law. I've had several attorneys rule on this. And by the way, I don't know where you're at in Florida, but I had a Florida RIA group actually take this to FREC. And FREC came back and said, you don't need a license to do anything we do as long as you're not doing it for others for a commission. Done. Case closed. My advice, ignore everything you heard at that meeting. Next question. I'm on a roll now.
Those are all the questions we have this week.
Okay, well that's it. All right, you guys go out of here next week, next week and the week after, and let's get some deals going. We're already in March already, so what have you done with the first 2 months of this year? This is going to be a great year. Might as well go take advantage of it. Economy's going nuts. Be part of it. See you next week.